Welcome to the Beantown Bully podcast. Back to the gaming topics. 343 still having issues with Halo. They pushed it back to 2021, which everyone knew this was going to happen. They even brought in new blood for it because they didn't know what they were doing at all. You also have to remember, Halo was in development for 5 years, and they're still having all these issues. So it's clearly a problem with management at this point because the storyline for Halo has already been developed. The arc, I just don't know why it makes it seem like they can't get the shit together. If you're a real Xbox fan, you really hate yourself right now. Like, you really do, because this is literally their flagship game. Xbox doesn't have a lot of first party games, let's say studios. They don't have a lot of first party studios, and for some reason, they just can't catch a break. They had to go out and bring in an old dev so that they could fix the story and everything. I don't think it's going to be ready in time by next year. It may take another year because, truth be told, it's not something that they can just drop out of the hat. Like, they need to fix the core issues. The graphics itself, they can just fix that, but I don't know about the storyline. The storyline doesn't show much promise, and they're trying to copy the Destiny's, how should you say, like Destiny's world building or Destiny's style. And I don't think they should do that. I think they should stick to what made Halo great, the multiplayer and the great story. Destiny's story is shit. Gameplay wise, good. Story, shit. I don't need Halo to follow the same path. 343 has taken something that was established, had a background. All they need to do was build off of it. What they're done was spend money reworking the graphics. The rework is going to cost Microsoft a shitload of money in general because, like I said, this game has been in development for 5 years. And seeing the trailer with the graphics, they've said that they dropped another trailer that prettied up what it was shown. But I still don't think it was enough because why would your main trailer have your characters look like this? That doesn't make any sense. They have ample opportunity to make, like I said, it's better for them to just have the game itself be the best version it can be. So taking as much time as you need is always a better option. Because if you drop it and it's shit, we'll understand why it's shit. You drop it too early and there's not enough fixes, then people can complain anyway. You might as well take the time and just drop the game when it's fully realized. So Marvel Avengers is looking kind of spooky. The rumor is every new character is going to be a $10 DLC, $10 Battle Pass or DLC, whichever one you want to call it. I didn't really think much of the game in general, but it looks like this is going to be a wait until they have all the characters drop, depending on how long they're going to support the game. I do believe that they're going to have like a Black Panther character, but if what they're saying is true, that the character, like for Spider-Man, it's not going to be like a mainline story mission for Spider-Man. So how are they going to actually delve into these other DLC packs for the characters? Are they just going to have their separate stages that you're able to play as them, as the main character? It looks kind of weird because if they go that route, then they're basically just dropping map packs with a character for a game like this. I don't know if people would really be okay with that. It doesn't make a lot of sense going that route. But like I said, my side with the game is I don't know if it's a day one buy for me. I played the demo. I've seen what it has to offer in that perspective, and it's just a action adventure game that has superheroes in it. The actual leveling, gearing up your character with the RPG elements, that is another thing. I don't know if I really care for that. But it's kind of tricky with that aspect because if you buy a character, should you not get everything unlocked? It's like Battlefield. Like, you bought the season pass or whatnot for the original Battlefield, because I haven't played 5 all that much. But when you bought the DLC for Battlefield 4, you had to still do a whole bunch of things to unlock the items that you basically purchased. Which, some people, I don't feel like, I don't have a problem with that, but it didn't make any sense. Like, why would you pay money for them to jump through hoops to unlock something? Like, don't get me wrong. If they wanted to drop it and give you a paid version and a free version, you just have to jump through the hoops for the free version. Well, that still might be frowned upon, but I think that's still a better option than dropping money to unlock something or to get access to something and then realizing, oh, I'm going to have to go through all these steps to actually get the items. But like I said, back to Marvel Avengers, there's just a lot there that I still don't really know about. The bundling of characters, the drops, like, are they going to tailor the drops to what character you're playing as? So could you not get a drop for, let's say, Black Widow if you're playing as Iron Man? There's a lot there that they're going to have to probably tweak. You may just get drops for every character, and you just have to, like, be using that character to equip the drop. But you know, it's kind of spooky, but you know, there's something there. We'll have to wait and see until the actual drop comes out for the first character, which I don't think it's going to happen until like a year out. They may even wait up to 6 months to actually start dropping that. Also, all I know is that prepare to spend a lot of money if you're one of those day one people to get every character they drop. Because if it's $10 a character, as the rumors say, depending on how many characters they drop, they're going to be raking it in. Call of Duty Cold War might be a day one buy for me, but the way they're dropping things, it's all over the place. You can buy the standard version, which gets you the game. You will be able to play it as backwards compatibility, but you won't get the updated graphics. So if you're planning to play the game with users who have the updated graphics, you may be at a disadvantage. You may get popping. You may get a lot of these things because you're not getting the updated graphics when you get to the next console, PS5 or Xbox Series X. So you may just pop out for the $70 version of the game. Now, is that a big deal? I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like I stated before, like they've done this in the past. An extra $10 is not that serious, but I don't understand why can't I just buy the PS5 version and just play it on PS4, because that doesn't make sense. People are getting money in advance for the game, so it's not like the gen switched and then they re-released it on a new console with updated graphics. No, the graphics is already there. It's already set. And they dumbed it down for the PS4 and Xbox. So I don't know why they would want to wait and be like, oh, let's just charge you extra $10 when you're not doing any work. There's not extra work that's being done for this. But it's $70, so it's not that big of a leap. But it does make next gen look a little spooky when they're going to try to nickel and dime you, because Xbox and PlayStation, from what they're saying, they're not going to leave anyone behind, or they're still going to support the PS4 and the Xbox Series X. I mean, PS4 and Xbox, whatever name is calling right now. They're not going to leave it behind for at least, they're going to try to support it for at least 3 more years. And it's a good or bad thing, because I want games to be developed for PS5 and the next gen consoles at their greatest they could possibly be. If they're always building for the weaker console and then trying to scale up, it doesn't really make sense. They need to put all their time and effort into the new consoles and the new games that they're going to make. As of right now, both consoles don't really have any games to drop at day one. There's a lot of talk about the exclusives that they have. The exclusives they have are not that good. Like, you get Spider-Man, which, okay, that's good, Xbox doesn't really have anything. It's mostly going to be the multiplats, but you only really buy the consoles for their exclusives. This is why PlayStation is winning right now. PlayStation exclusives are a lot more appealing, broadly saying, than Xbox exclusives. But right now, me just playing Halo again, or, well, I should say me personally, I really only fuck with Halo and Gears. The Gears storyline is kind of trash right now. I gotta still haven't actually beat Gears 5, so I actually have to put in more time in that game. But these are the games I look forward to, and it's not looking strong for the opening drops for the next generation. Now, Xbox has finally been doing what I've been asking them to do, and start picking up these game studios. Xbox has Obsidian Entertainment. They've made Knights of the Old Republic 2. They made Alpha Protocol, Fallout New Vegas, Dungeon Siege 3, South Park Stick of Truth, The Outer Worlds, and they are now owned by Xbox. Now, are they still going to drop multi-plat games? Well, that's the question. I don't think they're going to do that. Also, Avowed is coming out, which is the successor to Skyrim, technically, because, Elder Scrolls has not been doing their job in making the games that we want. They've also got In Exile Entertainment, which created Wasteland. I don't really care about that studio, but they've also got Ninja Theory. They got the creators of Heavenly Sword, Devil May Cry, Hellblade, Hasana, Bleeding Edge, and Susana Saga. Well, I said that already. But they got those games. They also got Double Fine, which made Psychonauts, Brutal Legend, and Costume Quest. Now, the last bit of games, Double Fine, I don't know how much they're really going to... they also have Compulsory Games. I also don't know how much that's really going to affect their games. Like, as of right now, that's great that they bought these studios, but what has these studios made? Because you gotta think, these studios are probably going to drop at least one game every 3 to 5 years. Truth be told, and what are these studios going to bring to the table? So it looks like I'm happy for it, but it looks like that might not be as good as we thought it would be. Buying these games, studios, and knowing that most of these studios only work on like one game for the majority until it's in its final process when they can break off and start other games. I don't know if it might be a little too late. They should have been thinking about these moves earlier, but can't be mad at them for buying these studios. Also, I forgot to say Playground Games. They have Forza Horizon. There's also the new Fable coming out. It's just, there's a lot happening there. And what's the real outcome of buying these studios so late in the game? Don't get me wrong, some of these studios were bought in like 2017, and they could actually be a worthy successor in the game making standpoint of they may drop something, but Xbox games are kind of like falling to the wayside with the level of quality. The gameplay in their games are kind of like, they look like they're sticking to the Minecraft type looking games that don't have a lot of fidelity or innovation. They're sticking to the safe, like don't get me wrong, like if you're a developer, I probably would put my things on Xbox to give it a bigger to get that bag and give me that push, but I probably wouldn't want to be owned by Xbox because they haven't really used Rare Studios, which they own. But what would they do? What would Rare do? Because some of the games that they made, I don't know if people are into those type of games anymore. Like Conker's Bad Fur, that's a good game, but are people checking for those games? Perfect Dark, is there going to be a new Perfect Dark? They also have dropped the prices for the systems. Xbox Series S, no disc tray is $300. With the disc tray is $500. PlayStation is $400 no disc. With this $500. So there's a lot to unpack there. The pricing. I was thinking it was gonna be around $600. It's not, and I would have been perfectly fine with the PlayStation being around $600. But checking at their lineup for day one, it doesn't really make sense about buying a day one console if they don't really have any games, because everyone's just giving you old games for a new console. You can be like, oh yeah, I can get the old games and play it on a new console and be perfectly fine with that. That only makes sense if you're planning to sell your old console. And I still have to check on the backwards compatibility aspect of the new consoles, because I've just the PlayStation Store has been having a shitload of sales for all these games. I just want to know that when it does come time to play them, there isn't any issues, because this should be right out the gate. I bought these games digitally, and with this, I should be able to play them with no problem. And I doubt that they're doing any major changes to like the disc drive or whatnot. A lot of people want to go straight digital. I can't do that. I still buy physical games. Plus, you can always find a deal on physical games. Always. Digital prices, that you're at the whims of whenever they want to update the store. The games will go down. I know GameStop is probably going to be losing their shit because of the whole digital console only. They may not even put that in their stores, but at this point, it is what it is. Saving the extra $100 may look appealing to people, but just having that ability to put a disc in my system, I kind of want to keep that. Because truth be told, PS4 should have allowed you to put your PS3 games into the console and play them. Or if you've bought the game digitally, they should have allowed you to play them. But they wanted you to use the PlayStation Now to play your older games, or technically rent your older games, because you can't buy those old games. And I'm not going to subscribe to that. I want to own my games. If I wanted to rent them, I would rent them. You're not charging me to rent old games. Like, no. If that's the case, I would just buy the games outright, because these are my games and I want them. But don't really allow backwards compatibility to the P3. Like, I can understand that the P2 and the P1 games that people want to play, like, you can't actually physically play those games. I mean, technically you can physically play those games, but you can't actually put the disc in. But going one generation back, you can at least put these games up in the store so that there's not that big of a deal. But, Xbox, with their Game Pass, I'm trying to figure out which is actually a better value, because the PSN Play, or whatever it's called, there's only just old games there. The majority of them are just old games there, like last generation and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, they've actually recruit a bunch of newer titles for PS4 in there too. So like, if you go to the game store, like if they age out, they just go into PlayStation, the PlayStation rental service, whatever it's called. For some reason I can't get that in my head, but they just go into there. Because I was looking at wrestling WWE 16, which for some reason I just had like an inkling to play wrestling. So I was thinking about buying it so that me and my team can play. I got it on a physical, so they can just pick it up digitally. It's an older game, so it shouldn't cost that much. Want to go pull it up in the PlayStation Store? It's only on PS Now. There we go. I finally remember what it's called. It's only on PS Now, which is annoying because they can't outright buy the game. They have to buy into the service, which the game is right now probably costs like $5. Like, it's 2016 wrestling. The 2020 game is straight trash from all the bugs. I don't know if they updated. I haven't checked into it again, but the 2016 one was the one I wanted to play with the team. Like, just to get a different game plan. Like, we played like a bunch of shooters. We're finally playing some other type of games. So it's just something that, to get out of the norm of just playing shooters all day. But it's all in PlayStation Now for seemingly no reason. Like, you could have just bought the game, but it aged out, like I said. So between PlayStation Now and Game Pass, Game Pass is a better offer. They give you newer games. Well, at least to me, they give you newer games that actually go into Game Pass that Xbox is just fitting the bill for. And like they had the Outer Worlds there, but I don't know when they bought the studio itself, but the Outer Worlds was there for like at least a month, so people can actually play it. So it may be a better offer. At this point, it depends, because if the next gen they just decide like, all right, we're gonna put all these games, all these new games, like at least 2 months out, 2-3 months out, put it on the service. You just pay into the service. You can play the game for a month. Would people want to do that? But the other thing you got to consider is like how much money are these studios and game developers are making from this process. Because if the game comes out day one, everybody's paying $60-$70 for the newer generation games, and then you got to decide, well, if we put it on the service, a lot more people may have access to it, but you're not going to have a big enough return on it. So it may work for indie type games, like just to get the name out there. Because if you pay into the service and you see a game, it may not be your cup of tea, but you download it and they give it a play, which they need to start making more demos, which is basically what the service is basically trying to be. Like a demo, you try it out, see if you like it. If you don't, stop playing it. You can play any other games on the list. But just bring back demos, like real demos. Like having a demo shouldn't be a special occasion. Just give us our free demos, and if we like the game, we like the game. I don't know, having these vertical slices of these games are actually costing the people a lot of money to make, but it's literally, you get a section, you play a section, a specific section. Like, you don't want to give people too much story in it, or just enough so that they can follow along. But like I said, give us demos. I don't know what demos went away. And also, they should probably even put a time limit on demos. Maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't say put a time limit on demos, but they need to look into that to see if that's what's the next wave is going to be. Because demos was literally the best way to see how we actually feel about games. Yeah, we can go to YouTube and actually watch someone else play it, and we can judge from there. But I feel like it's lacking. Like, someone tell you the controls of shit doesn't really mean anything to you until you play it. But like, that's what they should do. They need to delve deep into demos and require these studios to create demos so that people can play it. Also, my one gripe with demos is that some of the demos, or the game that lets you play like a certain part, or a trial version of the games, lets you play a certain part of the game and then cut you off, and then you can continue on from the other game. From if you buy the game, you can continue on. Didn't work real great for me because I had what's it called? I played Dishonored 2 as a trial version. Then they give you the link to buy the game. I forgot about the link. I bought the game hard copy, put the game in, was able to load my save and continue playing the game. I'm like 4 hours in now, and I'm like, I haven't gotten a single trophy. So I'm just like, what the hell is going on? So I started a new file, and I played the beginning, instantly get a trophy. I'm just like, yo, like, I'm not, technically, I don't really, trophies are, I don't know how I really feel about trophies. Like, they are a necessary evil, because I like getting some type of thing to say that I've completed the game. Like, if anyone wants to check my stats, I like being able to be like, I at least completed the game. Like, I don't need to be dumpster dive for like every little nook and cranny, like collect all these things, collect X things to get this trophy. No. The basic story trophies are like, get here, trophy. Get here, trophy. Beat the game on normal, hard, easy, or whatnot, trophy. I like those. I can look at my trophy and be like, okay, these are the games I've actually played. But for some reason, whenever I did the swap to the next one, did not activate. So at this point, I'm like, do I just start from the beginning and play it again? Or do I continue from where I am and I'm like deep into the game? I'm just like, I had to put it on the back burner because it kind of got left a bad taste in my mouth. Like, trophies are not that important, but I like when I can beat a game, I get a trophy saying I completed the game. Like, I like seeing that. But on the other hand, I'm not gonna go crazy for the trophies. Like, I'm not trying to platinum everything. But yeah, went on a little tangent there. But we'll see about this next gen. PlayStation's all sold out in the most major stores for the pre-orders. People's have went out and bought like 1, 2, or 3 of them. I'm still on the undecided part of buying it because there's a lot there that I need to unpack. I'm gonna wait till they physically drop and then see about the backwards compatibility because I have over 200 games on my PlayStation 4 right now. And do I want to risk hopping over to the new console and not being able to play some of them? Now, it's not an issue if you've beaten all those games. I haven't beaten a lot of my games yet. Also, I have a lot of multiplayer games that I'm just jumping around. I play a lot of more multiplayer games. And when a game comes out, I'm like, all right, when I'm not playing a multiplayer game, I can play this. I try to switch between them. But the problem is the majority of the games that I'm actually playing are games that have hours and hours of content. Right now, I'm on Assassin's Creed. I'm like 134 hours in. Beat the main story. I was trying to like clear out everything I had to do on the map for each island that I landed, and then it was starting to drain me. So I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm just gonna do some more main story mission. So I got past that. I just finished the first Blade DLC and the first Elysium DLC. So that's done, and I like the game. I like it a lot. There is a lot of false choices in the game. Like, they'll give you the appearance that there's multiple endings or multiple choices, but there really isn't. I've noticed that after a while of playing. But the game is good, and people are like been shitting on Assassin's Creed. I haven't played Origin, which everybody seems to love. I kind of want to go back and play it, but then it's just like, well, the things I can do in the new one, I don't want it to be been thrown away. Like, I like the world in Assassin's Creed Origin. I just think that Valhalla, like, it makes me optimistic for Valhalla, but they're giving you back things. It's making it more of a stealthy game, or giving you more stealth aspects, like being able to blend in crowds. These things were already in the main Assassin's Creed. Like, that was a thing that was discovered in Brotherhood, or the Ezio collection side of games, that you can blend into crowds and stuff. So it's not like this is like a revolutionary thing. It's just that they haven't implemented these stealth tactics in quite a while. Now, talking about stealth, we have to talk about Splinter Cell. Why have they been doing my boy Sam Fisher so dirty? He's in like 3 or 4 other games. Ones that come off the mind is they have like their Siege, which has Sam Fisher in it now. There's but he's called Zero. They have their Overwatch type clone for Ubisoft Heroes or whatever it's called. Sam is in there. Just give the man his own game. Oh, he was also in Ghost Recon. He was in there for a couple DLC missions. Like, I don't know if they don't want to drop him because they don't know how to capitalize on a straight single player type story game. Because they want to enter all this DLC, these microtransactions and stuff like that into Sam Fisher. But let's just be realistic. Sam Fisher, Ubisoft really built their company off Sam Fisher's back. Like, the Tom Clancy name is literally what's been off their back. Like, Sam Fisher, Rainbow Six, and Ghost Recon, those 3 games has been their main money makers for quite a while. Don't get me wrong, they have other games too, but those are the main money makers that they have. And Rainbow Six has been doing everything right from what I've seen. They have updates. They've been dropping characters. Some people say, well, the characters are not as diverse as they want. But let's just be honest. What more can you do if a game like that? Like, you don't want any character to be overpowered in their abilities. But there's a lot of things that they say that they don't want to like mess with. It's like, how many people can control cameras or trick cameras? Like, they're gonna have to start thinking outside the box more, long haul, for the next characters they start, the next wave of characters. Plus, they're also making the quarantine game with the Rainbow Six characters, which I'm looking forward to. But back to the whole, they need to drop a new. Also, Prince of Persia. You did him dirty. You did a remake that doesn't even look next gen. It doesn't look like it's an upgrade from the original. I felt like this was like a passion project for someone to test out the waters if people really want to see another Prince of Persia come out. But we've been asking for Sam Fisher, and then you want to jump to Prince of Persia? Okay. I don't know, man. With Assassin's Creed, if Assassin's Creed, the way it's going out, it's more action based. A Prince of Persia game may be a good look, but you gotta understand, how are they gonna make money off it? It's the same problem with Sam Fisher. Like, they're gonna introduce some type of multiplayer into the game, right? Sam Fisher did have multiplayer, which was the two different multiplayers they had, like the Spies versus Merc, or just the co-op missions alone that they had. I don't know how much more money they can like nickel and dime people out of for those two modes. But if you just drop maps for those, then that's a good thing. Like, they can literally last for quite a bit with the maps alone. New guns drops or whatnot. Yeah, I wouldn't say new abilities yet, because that might break the meta of the game. But, you know, test it out with the new abilities, because Siege has been dropping new characters, and some of them have been broken a little bit. There's a couple glitches that people have been figuring out. But if they've supported like they supported Siege, I feel like they can get past all that, because they took a big chance on Siege, and Siege is working for them. But also, Siege is esports game, so they're building notoriety for the game on there too. Sam Fisher, if they do bring it out, single player only, there's no real way for them to make money off it with microtransactions, unless they're going to try to do what they were doing for Assassin's Creed. I don't know how it's going to work. There's a lot there to unpack. So, right when I was about to edit this episode, Xbox dropped a new bombshell that they have bought ZeniMax and Bethesda Studios. So what does that mean? They own all of Elder Scrolls. They own basically Fallout, all of Fallout. So they already had the other company that made Outer Worlds and is currently making Avowed. So they literally have their foot on PlayStation's neck. Now, everybody can keep saying that PlayStation has better exclusives. If the next Elder Scroll, or if the next Outer Worlds game comes out on just Xbox, that may be a game changer. People can say that Fallout 4 or they haven't made a new Skyrim. They can say all these things that, yeah, that sounds cute, but these are big moves. Now, if they make them exclusive, they said they don't plan on making them exclusives on title by title basis. They may hold it out for a year, a yearly exclusive, just to do it. Give more credence into actually buying an Xbox. I already plan on getting one. I have a bunch of old games. I want some new games. I already plan on buying them. Am I really gonna game on Xbox next generation? I might have to. I play some Xbox games here and there. It's just that the majority of my games that I'm currently playing are on my PlayStation right now, and I'm hopping back and forth between them when I get a chance. It's just that there's a lot of titles on my PlayStation that I really want to get through. Like, I'm not trying to leave none of these games behind, and there's a lot there, and also the games that they have, they also own Doom. Can they do something with Doom and Doom Guy and Master Chief? They might be able to now. This is all in the realm of possibility. I doubt they're gonna do something with Doom and Master Chief. They may have some like crossover, like you can play as Master Chief in a Doom game or get the skin. So, or vice versa, you may be able to play as a Doom character. There's potential that they could do this since Xbox owns the studios. Also, Fable is still coming. I don't know if I brought this up earlier, but Fable is still coming. So let's not forget that Fable, if they do Fable right, it probably will be the biggest action RPG game that comes out next gen. And they need to give it the works. They need to give it the works because no one has seen it yet. They need to give it the works and make it a console seller type game. Xbox has been throwing this money around, and everybody thought, like I've been saying this for quite a while, Xbox needs to start buying up these studios. Like if their studios can't deliver the games that people want, they need to buy the studios that can and bring it under their umbrella. As of right now, they're following in the path that I've been telling them to do for the longest. And now we're going to see what's happening. They may not have these games year one, year two, but once they start trickling down, PlayStation, don't get me wrong, PlayStation has its games, but the studios that they just acquire are game changers. If those games are exclusive to Xbox, it's changing the landscape. Xbox may not have the numbers now, but going to next gen, knowing what they know, knowing what we know now, they are completely changing the landscape. And all I'm saying is, this whole Xbox don't have anything. I'm not even a die-hard Xbox guy. I just owned every Xbox. Same thing with PlayStation. I've owned every PlayStation. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm not buying like the pros of all these consoles or whatnot. If I bought the console, I don't feel like I need to upgrade to buy another console if it's playing the same games. That's just me. So Xbox has they've made it official. Now, I don't know about casuals who actually look into the future and been like looking at the studios they have and what they can make. Because at first, Xbox already only had the big three, Gears, Halo, Forza. Now with these studios being bought, they have real contenders. None of this multi-plat talking. PlayStation has their games. Xbox now have way more opportunities. Now, are they going to actually make all those studios just on Xbox? I doubt that because they want to recoup some of their money. They may be time exclusives. They may get DLCs only for Xbox. These are the things. Or they may do drop them on other consoles, but like time exclusives, I don't know if time exclusives really matter, but they're giving you a reason to buy an Xbox, or at least to consider an Xbox. They dropped that $300 super cheap console. I most likely is not going to buy that. I just need me a disc tray. I'm going to spend the money for the disc tray. Yeah. Xbox is letting people know we are not playing games this next generation. And truth be told, their philosophy in gaming and PlayStation's gaming is completely different. Thank you for listening to the Beantown Bully podcast. Please leave us a review. We're still new to the podcast game. If there's any topics or criticisms, please leave us a comment and shoot us an email at beantownbullies617@gmail.com. If you'd like to support, please check the links in the description.